Sweet.
Hello, and welcome to Blood Bowl. I'm going to do a little introduction on the game of Blood Bowl. Um, an introduction to, more specifically, how to play a quote-unquote bashier team like the Chaos Dwarves. And I'm actually going to be playing another team, another bashy team that is, the Vikings in this match. Let's have a look at my players. We got Tyrone Death Punch, Blast Hard Cheese, Punch Rock Groin, um, Half Man Slightly Horse. I don't know what I was thinking when I named them, but that's fine. I'm gonna take a look at my players. We have 13. We have how many? Six Chaos Dwarves, one Centaur, four Hobgoblins, and one Minotaur. We'll be playing against the Ragnarite Pythons, a Norse team. The Norse teams are a really tough team to play against. And if you're choosing to play as them, well, you know, most of their players very early on can get both block and dodge, which is very tough to contend with. Because not a lot of my Chaos Dwarf players can do that. Block means that a both down result ends with, well, if both players have blocked, then they stand. Both of them are up, and if the other player doesn't, then he'll be down. So basically, it takes one die roll out of the equation, which is very good. And dodge adds makes it very easy for them to jump out of tackle zones, which is what you'll see later, is that they're very good at that. This team, I'm not too sure whether to. When I'm playing against this team, I'm not sure whether to to actually be on the front line or not, because I mean I can deal out some damage, but this team will deal it back. So I'm not sure how I should play it. I usually I'll play it the same way. I'll just moved Smuck's Little Green the second, my kicker. As soon as you can, you should usually have your more agility-based characters. One of your more agility-based characters have kick, because it's very useful. It's very useful to have. You only really need one character with kick, usually. So if you have a agility character level up, kick should be your first priority, and then the rest of them. Let's see what I do here. All them dodges. They suffered a turnover there, which is great. They made sort of a makeshift cage in the front there, and the usual strategy with me, I find, with the cages is not to approach the cage, is to stay one block away, because if you jump into the cage, you can only blitz once, so you only be able to tackle once if you jump straight into the cage. You should stay one block away from the cage, surround the cage, so don't jump into the cage, surround the cage, and make them come to you. Make them use their one blitz, come to you, and then you'll have the first tackle at them. It's usually the accepted strategy. I'm just moving my players into position to surround them. I'll have Half Man Slightly Horse hang in the back just in case my surrounding of them fails. Usually what I do is have half man, slightly horse, my centaur in the back, because he's pretty fast and can usually catch any stragglers in the defense. So if the carrier either breaks the defense or throws it to a catcher, I can have my centaur run straight up and get him. So it's good. It's usually good to have at least one person hanging in the back. Usually a very quick character, but it depends. Just doing a bit of tackling there. Which won't do me too well, because I think a great majority, if not all of them, actually have block, which you see there. What else? We have... So they're shifting around their cage. It doesn't look like they're... There you go. They're setting up a cage, but they're missing the top left, which is very useful, and I think that's actually what he was trying to do with him, which didn't turn out too well. I'm still going by my strategy. I'm not approaching the cage, but I will soon because, well, I guess I was sort of impatient. Let's see. Moving Bob Johnson here, staying one block away. I want them to come to me, like I said. Just moving Dr. Hothead. This is that's what I usually use the hobgoblins for. Is usually not tackling, but assisting in the tackling. And you'll see that a few times in here where if I don't get quite the amount of dice rolls that I want, which is usually 2, and sometimes 1 if I'm really hard pressed, but I usually move a hobgoblin in to assist with the blocking, which is a very useful tactic to do. And sometimes I actually use the hobgoblins for tackling. That wasn't a very good roll, but that's what block's for. Got a 1. This is very lucky. I usually shoot for 2 dice blocks, but with teams like this, you're gonna have to do. That was my bad. I think I misclicked there, which is a problem, but that's fine. And the problem with Minotaurs is that with Wild Animal, anything that isn't blocking, the like you see there with wild animal ability, anything that's not blocking, they will have a. I think you'll have to roll to see if they won't do it. So anything that's not blocking, sometimes I don't know the exact dice roll on it. They just won't do it. Like you'll see. Oh yeah, you got it. So even standing up, stuff like standing up, is not considered tackling, and sometimes you just won't do it. Later on in the match, you'll find that Tyrone Death Punch was down several turns just because of Wild Animal and me not being able to get him up, which is a problem, but I guess that's part of the game. It's just luck. Just checking out my options here. We have... So I'm just moving my guys in here. Now that I have Tyrone Death Punch there for the assist, I can push him around a bit. I'm just moving my guys in to tangle them up in tackle zones to make sure they don't go anywhere. They're pushed back a few blocks, and I want them to stay that way. But it won't help me that much. One dice block there. Yeah. That's very lucky. That's fine. Bob Johnson. taking down the Norse werewolf. I don't know why I didn't notice that the first time around, but the catcher moved out of my tackle zone, which is what dodge is good for. I don't remember if I moved him back. I guess we'll find out. See if I can use Tyrone Death Punch to push around some people. Just gonna push the Yeti out of the way there. I forgot Frenzy. Well, that's good. Frenzy's a very weird thing. I don't. It's a 50-50. Sometimes I want Frenzy and sometimes I don't. I guess it's good if you have a lot of people in the area. It's good for a dogfight, but it's not good for one-on-one or when the frenzied person is surrounded by more people, because you can get into a lot of trouble by pushing a player in and then getting a bad dice roll and still having to roll it because of frenzy, which is a problem. But there's problems with pretty much everything. Just checking on my options. I got Man McRun Fast that I can move in for the assist. I don't think it's going to really help. I guess it turned... Oh, that's not good. Okay. Good. I think a couple of my Chaos Dwarves have Frenzy, and sometimes I regret it. But in certain cases, it's actually useful. There's a couple of other useful skills, like, what was the other ones? I'll do a video on the different skills and their abilities later on. That's what block does. Block is very useful, but honestly, all of these characters have block. So it's good when you're going up a team that doesn't have block, but when all of them have block, it pretty much just levels the playing field, honestly. I move him up here to tangle him up, but it's not going to do me any good because of dodge. They can just dodge out of any tackle zone they want to, which is a good skill to have in a lot of elf teams. A lot of agility-based teams have them. That ability you saw there, Jump Up, is a really good one. You immediately hop up and be able to tackle. That's a really good skill to have. I don't know why all these players have so many skills. I think these start with block as well. Let's see. There you go. Dodge, dodge, dodge. Throw, and dodge. And just like that, they score a point. So with all my careful planning, they still squeeze on through. But that's the, I guess that's the whole game. It's just luck and getting the right amount of, the right skills to, I guess, to work around every player. I knocked out 2 this turn, which is good. With weaker teams, I usually end up with a lot more people dead. And that's something I really like to do with bashier teams, is actually inflict injuries. And I don't think I'm going to do it if I do a league, because it's not a very nice thing to do to kill off players. But, you know, Blood Bowl is Blood Bowl. And their strategy there, I think their reasoning for that kick was so that they can bring me closer to them, which is what they want. I'm a bashy team, they're a bashy team. There's just going to be a lot of tackling going on. So it's natural that they want to usually with kicking, I usually shoot for um, I usually shoot for way in the back, just because I usually aim for the bottom corners, and that's not good. At least we didn't roll an injury there, which is fine. And immediately I'm in a bit of trouble here. We got a loose ball. It could have ended up farther away, but um, it was very lucky that it ended up right there.
Well, this player slips between the other one's hands.
Yes, and yet they were clawed.
Hey, Bob, can you see those hobgoblins on the pitch?
Oh, yes, Tim. I can
With the halftime coming up, all I really need to do at this point, even though it looks bad, all I really need to do is stop them from getting to the to the end zone before time runs out, which is only 2 turns. So all I really had to do here was tie them up as best I can, push them down, which is what I do, and keep them from getting this touchdown before the halftime,
Open the slapping box and gives rather generously.
which is what I end up doing, which is very lucky. As soon as I realized that this wasn't going too well, I immediately moved everybody in sort of like a panic mode. Um, but I think I only got 1 block die here, but it's fine. I think I moved in. Who do I use? Yeah, push him in. We take him down fairly early, which is really lucky because it could have gone with no rerolls now. It could have gone really bad.
he's knocked them senseless.
I'll get two. This is fine.
Something between his ears to begin with. Did you know, Bob, that the hobgoblins
It's very lucky that it went way up forward, because if it would have ended up closer to my end zone, it would have been very bad for me.
goblin slaves rebelled? The hobgoblins turned their backs on their brothers and helped the chaos dwarf.
Just trying to do a bit of tackling
Unreliable creatures, Jim. Look at them.
so I can free Smuck's Little Green for
So different, you know.
I don't think I used him for an assist because I didn't have it. I was just moving him around. Now that they sort of have the ball now, I just wanna push them down that way and keep them from getting the goal. It's just running out the clock at this point. Let's see.
What we'd like to see.
You knock somebody out there, which is always good for a bashy team to knock people out. I don't remember what I did here. Did I? I moved him in for the assist. Now that I saw that they can pretty much like squeak out of every
Stories of teams who've gone bust with crippling deaths.
And with
now that I've seen that they can get out of my tackle zones, I'm pretty much not letting any runner get past, because that pretty much means that they have the point. If they have free reign of my free reign of the field, then that's pretty much game over. Let's see. Just moving some players in. In my opinion, the only good runner is a dead runner. At least on the enemy teams.
Finally, there's one that lets his biceps do the talking.
And that's usually how I play it with the more agility-based teams like elves and stuff like that.
As soon as he
I usually try to get a player on them and put them down because, well, it's a lot easier knowing, like, oh well, he's flat on his ass. He's not gonna pick up a ball and run in like the last one did. So usually, with those other teams, I try to put them down, put the runners right down, think... Did I move him in? Yeah. Now that there's only one turn left, I think it wouldn't really matter if he got right up because he wouldn't be able to both get up and run in on the same turn. So that's why I did that. Block skill is very good for that one. Just got a massive dog pile here. Lots of tackling and pushing. But that's how it usually goes with teams like these. Suffered a turnover there, which is very lucky. Surprisingly, the Centaurs are actually very tough. They can... I think their strength level is quite high. And their speed is quite high, and that's why I like having him in the backfield. Because he can swoop in and take out a runner with ease, which is very good. Just using half man, slightly horse to push around some fools. That's the last turn. Right now, I'm trying to inflict some injuries, which doesn't work out too well, but you always got to try. I'm just trying to push around some people, make some injuries happen before the halftime, just so that their numbers are down. And halftime. Got the beer maidens there. I don't have beer maidens. I got one goblin with a drum, which is fine. Don't care about that. Wish I had beer maidens though. I injured someone. I don't remember doing that. Usually I try to have as many people as possible, to be honest, down on the ground or incapacitated as it is. But with bashier teams, it's hard to do that. And when you inflict injuries on other players, you actually get experience points, which is a lot easier to get. It's a lot easier way to get experience than actually doing touchdowns. At least it happens more often with my team, which I guess says maybe a bit. They're doing it again. They're kicking very shallow into my field, just so they can get a hold of the ball very quickly and run it right up into my tackle zone, or not my tackle zone, my end zone, which is not good. I'm setting up sort of a cage, which is fine. I'm moving my players to protect them because I know what they can do and I've seen what they can do, and I don't want the ball in their hands. Because they can dodge all of my people and run right into the tackle zone, which is not what I want. I want the ball in my hands, and I want this to come down straight down to a fist, like a fighting match, basically. Because as it is, I think I'm slightly better at tackling and just general strength as it is. So I want to keep them. I want to keep the ball in my hands and just push forward with the cage. And that's the given strategy for strength-based teams, is that you build the cage and you push the cage. And we got the Norsemen not following my rules, but that's fine. They can go by their own rules. They're coming right up to the cage, and I guess they can do that because they are a very bashy team. You just push Tyrant Death Punch down, and he's gonna stay like that for a while because of Wild Animal. I can't get him up. But it's to be expected with stuff like that. You can't have a very strong character. There's no strong characters in Blood Bowl without drawbacks. They either have they're either ignorant or a wild animal, or there's always some drawback to the bigger characters. You'll find, usually. As you can see there, wild animal, he won't get up. I was trying to find an option where I wouldn't have to push straight through the Norseman. And I was thinking I could run around to the left, but it didn't turn out too well, so I decided to bunch up, make the cage beefier, and start bashing around. And it worked well, reasonably well. I think I moved the 2 free dwarves up to assist in my cage. Usually a cage is only the corners, but when you're going up against a team like this, I usually make the cage a lot beefier. Make it up. Oh, yeah. That was a misclick again. I think that was the second misclick of this match, but it turns out reasonably well. Not that move, but yeah. That was good. When you push people out of the field, you usually end up with them being injured, which is very lucky because he didn't. But when you push them out, they get kicked off the field. Not by the referee, but just, you know. And that's a good way to get someone injured. And actually, I've gotten a few deaths from just that, being pushed off the field and getting kicked by the spectators, which is this is a problem, but that's what you get when you run up the side. There's inherent danger in pretty much everything. We have the werewolf pushing his way in. We push him again to the side. Did he get injured? No. But he'll be out for the entire match. The rest of the match, that is. Wild animal, he won't get up again. I'm not really following this rule, but it should be said that when you're playing a match, when you start your turn, there's an order of things that need to happen in each turn. First, you get your people up, then you move, and then you do your 2 block tackles, then your 1 block tackles. At least on my team, you do your 2 block tackles, 1 block tackles, and then you do your dodges. I'm not really following that rule. I really should. But there you go. Just turnover there, which is very good because they were going to move more people in. It helps me out just a little bit, not a whole lot. Who has the ball? Is it half man, slightly horse? That's very lucky that he actually has the ball because he's the fastest character and he's very tough, but it's very hard to actually get the ball in his hands unless he has short hands, which is, I think, the next skill that I should get for him if he can have it. Blood Bowl gives you time to think each move, and honestly, you should take every second to think through your moves. I know it seems like I think I'm moving pretty fast. Usually, like the average game takes an hour, and this one took about 40 minutes. Let's see. I try to get him up again. Nope. Wild animal. Have a half-man slightly horse. That is the moment you should be using rerolls, is when you get when you do double rolls and you get double skulls. That's like the real moment, like, well, reroll. And that's why rerolls are very important to have, just to have as many of them as possible. I think I ended my turn here. I didn't want to risk having Smux Little Green go down. This game is mostly about risk and partially about luck. He's just pushing Smux Little Green around. That's fine. Pushed him down. With a double red, you get to choose the result, which is not a good thing to be doing, but I guess that's his decision to make. I usually try to never make 2 red block dies if it's possible, because there's no way you're gonna win with 2 red block dies. At best, you're just gonna push them, so there's no point in it. So if you find yourself, I always try to find a better option, and I don't know about other players, but that's usually what I try to end up doing. Is if I see a 2 red block or red die block, I usually just don't make it or don't do it at all, because most of the time it's just gonna end up with me on my ass. Most of the time, that is. Sometimes you get very lucky. If you're a gambler, go ahead and do those red block dies. Attack her down. I guess that's what you're into. Don't know why he isn't using his rerolls, the computer, but that's fine. There's no skin off my nose. I think at this point he's just trying to run out the clock, but it won't do him too well. I've knocked out, I think, 4 of his players, so he's down. I think at least 1 player from the start of this match. Well, not the start of this match, but the start of this half. He's dead. I remember that. I don't think he actually got the experience for that, but there you go. That's usually how most of my matches end, at least with computers, is at least 1 death, if not lots of injuries, especially if you're playing weaker, more agility-based teams. I'm just trying to push the players out of the way so I can get half-man slightly horse up into the because it's very clear up there, apart from the Yeti, which honestly couldn't really catch me if I moved up there, which is what happens. Unless he blitzes with it, then he's gonna have to make a roll to even move it to where I am. So I'm trying to move as far as I can away, just to make sure I'm out of blitz range. And I should have checked that, but that's fine. And I'm in fact, I use Man McRunFast to block him, so he can't even do that. He can't even run and blitz without having to make a dodge roll, which I don't think that Yeti has. So I'm just trying to get as many people in that area as I can, because it's very close and time was running out. I just want to tie everyone up in tackle zones. It won't do me too well, honestly, but it's just good insurance to do. He's trying to push my guys around. I don't know why he doesn't just move his guys up to put a tackle zone on him, because he doesn't have, I think he actually has break tackle, which is also a good skill to have, because it uses your strength rather than your agility to break out of tackle zones. And we move in for the touchdown. Half man, slightly horse. Oh yeah. It's my cheerleader. I have one cheerleader. Cheerleaders are, they're sort of useful, but not for the money that you have to pay for them for. Usually I only go for like 1 or 2, but there are some, they're helpful. Assistant coaches and cheerleaders are helpful in the beginning for certain roles. Like if you have assistant coaches, then there are some roles that you can get more easily, like perfect defense, perfect offense, and different things like that right there. I think was one of the roles that you can get if you have an assistant coach. And the cheerleaders are helpful too as well, because there are certain things at the start of the match. I've seen it a couple times where the team with the worst fan rating ends up getting a bigger beating from an event they call an invasion of the pitch. Like the fans come in, invade the pitch, and the one with the worst fan factor just gets beat the hell. And it's very rare, but it happens. I've seen it happen several times actually. There's only a few more turns left, so mostly I'm trying to get some injuries, trying to get some experience, and I'm alright with the tie, at least on this match. I think I won the last one. If it's the final match of a league, they won't allow ties, and they would have gone into overtime, but as this is not, they won't. I don't know what I was doing here. I was just moving people in to push them around, trying to get some extra training, not training, some extra experience. And I think I actually leveled up one of my characters after this. I think it was Dr. Hothead.
I love this story. The Scarface scavengers strapped dynamite and kegs of gunpowder onto the troll, sent him running down into
And I don't know why they didn't go for something ridiculous. When it's the last few turns of a match, usually people just they throw they go for their Hail Mary round. They just go for crazy moves and try to get a touchdown at the end. But I was alright with the tie, and I got some experience out of it. And that's the end of the match.
I can't stand a draw. Why not have a sudden death playoff?
and why not just line up the players?
Alright, well, thank you for watching. If you learned anything about this, keep watching. I'll do a few more videos. I'm going to do a video on the abilities and what they do. And I might do another video on how to play a more agility-based team. And with that, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and see you later.